somewhat out of scope. This is referring to the remainder, not the reminder. It's kind of an interesting thing there. So if you recall, this x squared minus 8, it goes outside the house. And then inside the house is this thing right here. But what you have to do, and that's why they're giving this problem, is you have to include the terms that aren't there. And you see I have to go down by 1 in descending order until I get to the last number here in this case, right? And now we can do it. Like if you try to do it without this, you'll completely get the wrong answer, and it might even be there. It just wants the remainder though, whatever is left over here at the end. So the question you ask yourself is, what do you multiply by x squared to get x to the 4th? And that is x squared. And then you're multiplying each of these by x squared. So it's x to the 4th minus 8x squared. And then my preference here, you'll see me do this, I'll switch colors here, is I like to change the sign of each. And then add them up rather than subtract. So it's x to the 4th plus minus x to the 4th, that's 0. The leading one is always supposed to be 0. This is 8x squared. You bring these down. And it's the same thing. What do you multiply x squared by to get 8x squared?
Which is 8.
Right. So that's 8x squared minus 64. But again, you have to change the sign. You're subtracting, but I prefer to change the sign here on these. And that helps to figure out the correct answer. So when you're done, of course, this isn't letting me add some room here. Come on. When you're done, there it is. You this becomes 0 and this becomes 100, and that is your remainder.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's look at number 3 next.
Now I know how to do the U substitution. I just still have a hard time doing it, like actually completing the problem.
What is your U here?
Is 2x plus 3.
Perfect. Okay, so this becomes u squared plus 8u plus 11. And this is what you use the quadratic formula to solve. Okay, so your a is 1, your b is 8, and your c is 11. Okay, so your quadratic formula is x equals opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we need to put all of those numbers into this formula. Minus 8 plus or minus 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times 11, square root of that, all over 2 times 1. 8 squared is 64 minus 44. So this becomes 20. And so you need the square root of that. You kind of have to do this off to the side. And this becomes 2 square root 5. So this one, like that, this one has a lot of like built-in stuff into it. It's 8 plus or minus 2 square root 5 over 2. And this time you can actually divide both of these by 2. Grab another color here to show that. You can divide minus 8 by 2 and 2 by 2. And that gives you minus 4 plus or minus root 5. But this is not the answer because everything we just did is for u. And I think you got to be very careful of that because you get so heavily involved in this question that you don't remember what you were starting with. So the starting point was 2x plus 3, and that's what u is. So you need to solve this for x. So you subtract 3 from both sides. Minus 7 plus or minus square root of 5. Then you divide by 2. And there should be some answer that looks very similar to this. Hopefully. Yeah, there is. I don't think I've asked you this, but are your exams exactly the same questions as you've seen on homeworks?
Sometimes, not all the time though. Sometimes
Okay.
they like to put different answers, but they usually, it's the same concepts, obviously, but not usually the same all the time. Like you'll see like half of them on the test. That's what I'm saying, kind of thing.
Okay. Trying to figure out how to best help you here for this. So like for number 4, I'll snip this in. When I look at question 4, the way this is written is this actually came from a system. It would be like y equals x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x minus 6. And then the second system is minus 4x squared plus 14x plus 12. And the question, what the question is literally asking is what is the solution or answer to this? And I guess the question I want to ask is like, can we just graph this? Because that is the correct, that's sort of the best path here.
Yeah.
Would you be allowed to do that on a test or quiz?
Yes, there's even some questions,
Okay.
you'll see it later on that they're kind of like these ones, and they say use graphing calculators. The first time they've ever actually told us to use the tool. Like
Yeah.
before we've been
Got
able
it.
to use it, but this time they're like instructing us to use it to answer the questions. So yes.
So for simplicity here, let me why is this? That's interesting. Let me just share my screen and show you how you might do this. Right. So if you're seeing my screen, you're seeing a graphing calculator.
Yes, I am.
I hope. Okay, so y equals x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x minus 6. Okay, and then the next one is y equals minus 4x squared plus 14x plus 12. All right, so I'm zooming out now and I'm trying to figure out like where these things intersect. Looks like there's 2 intersection points there. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Now, does that actually correspond to one of the answers?
No and yes, because there's one with 3 and -2, but
Yes.
also a -3.
So it's asking about the x values. So the x value of minus 2 and 3 is what you're looking for. The x value is the solution. I'll even make a note of that. It's the x values that you care about. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Now there's another part of this that I want to show you because I think this is important. The problem as it is written, if you were to graph it the way it is written, I'm going to do that now. And you're in me copy and paste some stuff. Well, that's not good. This one actually has 3 solutions. Is there an answer with 3 solutions?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So there's actually 3 solutions here. So I actually wasn't, see how there's one at minus 3,
Yeah.
minus 2, and 3. That is actually your correct answer. And I didn't even see that when we did it this way. But maybe this is odd looking because they're vertical lines. They're representing the only places where the solution exists.
Yeah.
So actually, I guess it is that that first one.
Okay. Makes sense. It's just weird that they didn't, like, I don't know, you couldn't really figure that out by the other graph. The other 2 graphs, I mean.
Well, I probably just needed to zoom out more on it and get the right window. So let's see if we can find it. So see how there's one there at that point right there?
Yeah.
At minus 2. I just got to keep going. Well, there's the other one. And that may be why this was given, because it's like you got to go and search for it. It's easy to find the wrong.
Yeah.
Not get them all. All right, let me grab the next one here. All right, so I'm gonna share my other screen,
Okay.
and we'll get back to working out some problems by hand, at least for this one. Okay, so it says if x minus 2k is a factor of f of x, and let me try to explain this in an analogous problem. Let's say x minus 4 is a factor of f of x. You set your factors equal to 0, and then you add 4 in this case to give you the solution. This means that this is a solution.
Okay.
So you do the same thing here. You actually set x minus 2k equal to 0, add 2k to both sides, and x equals 2k is a solution.
Okay.
I just need 30 seconds here. I need to grab some water. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I am back. Any questions on that or anything that's...
I just want to clarify that would be the last answer, right? It would be D.
Well, no. So the f of 4 equals 0 over here on the right. So on the left, it's f of 2k equals 0,
Okay.
because this is your x.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at number 6. Maybe you must have done some of these and never sent like these in a homework assignment, because like this is a new type of problem. Meaning it's like I've not seen this with you, but it's means
Sometimes I'm able to do the homework by myself, so maybe
good.
this is during
That's
the
great. Yeah. Okay, so let's FOIL this. So it's 2x times 5x, that's 10x squared. 2x times 9, that's 18x. Minus 3 times 5x minus 15x. Minus 3 times minus 9 is minus 27. So when you combine like terms, you get 10x squared plus 3x minus 27. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's look at 2x minus 3 and 5x plus 9. So some of the answers suggest that this may not be completely factored.
Mm-hmm.
The question you should be thinking about is, well, is there a number that could come out of, like, is there a number that goes into both 2 and 3 besides 1? And same thing with 5 and 9.
No,
No. And let me give you an example. Like, let's say it was 2x minus 4.
that
You
would
could
be
factor,
2.
yeah, you could factor 2 out.
I,
So this one actually is good. It actually is completely factored and it's equivalent. So
Okay.
that is maybe letter A.
yeah.
Okay.
It's weird to have ones have A, the answer. Like the last 3, the answer has been A, which makes me worry.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be careful on those. That only matters if a human makes it. If a computer makes it, then you don't ever want to try to find a pattern like that. Okay, which polynomial function has a leading coefficient of 1, roots minus 2 and 7 multiplicity of 1, and root 5 multiplicity of 2? So I mentioned before, you write x equals the root.
Mhm.
So for example, x equals minus 2, but then you have to add 2 to both sides. This becomes x plus 2. Multiplicity of 1 means you put a 1 right here.
Oh, okay.
So now your next root, let me get rid of this for the moment. Your next root is x equals 7. it's positive, so you subtract 7, x minus 7, multiplicity of 1. X equals 5, subtract 5, x minus 5, but this time as a multiplicity of 2. So there's a squared like that.
Sorry.
Bless you. So now your polynomial function is just these smushed together like this.
Okay.
Okay. Now a couple of things. It is x equals root. Some students prefer x minus the root with the multiplicity up here, and that is fine. That's totally correct. The only thing is you have to be careful that you account for the negative properly. So if you do x minus a minus 2, it becomes x plus 2. Because you probably see an answer that's wrong, that's like x minus 2 somewhere.
Mhm.
So just be careful with that. This is completely wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I like the x equals root, but you can also do it this way on the right. That's fine as well. Okay, let's do number 8. And we'll definitely be using Desmos for this to answer it. A cube has side length x. So a cube by definition means that all lengths are the same, x, x, x. But now it says one side of the cube is increased by 4 inches and another side is doubled. What happens to the, oh, what? Okay. The volume of the new rectangular prism is 450. Okay. Well, okay. So there's a lot of things here that we don't need. We need this equation though. This equation says 2x cubed plus 8x squared equals 450.
Yeah.
So we need to graph this to find the answer. So let me go new share that graphing calculator Desmos again. And this time I'm just going to type, you can clear these out with the X. You can literally just type in what's there, 2x cubed plus 8x squared equals 450. And that gives you the answer, like wherever this crosses is the answer. And it looks like it's 5.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't like that, you can make y equal to this, y equal to 450. That's how you do it kind of in your old style of calculator.
Yeah.
With this approach, though, you got to change your window to get the answer. See how now that you can see that they intersect at 5.
Yeah, but it gets kind of complicated.
Yes. So x is 5. Problem is that, well, let me go back to the other screen. I don't even know if this is the answer. Let me go look at your question again. This is one of those where you get a number, but it's probably not the right answer. Let me just take a moment here. So let's say it's 5. It says that another side of the cube is increased by 9 inches or 4 inches to give you 9. So then the other side would be 5 times 9. Another side is doubled. Okay, so that's 10. Does that equal 450? Yeah, that does. Okay. What was the side length of the original cube? So I think it's just the x value.
Okay, because that got really confusing. Because for sure it was 5.
I know.
And then
I know.
like,
Well, the problem is that what they're trying to tell you is that there's this new cube. It's actually a prism. But one of the sides stays the same. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. So 9 does not have a multiple choice. Is that normal, or is that just a?
It's not normal. There were like a few, I think that there's that question and another one. I'm not sure where it is, but
It even says what would the graph be? It must be referring to something that didn't print.
yeah, I think it must be.
Okay. So let's look at this here. Polynomial function has a root of -3. So you can do x minus -3. That's the x minus root approach with the
Yeah.
multiplicity as the exponent, multiplicity of 2, and a root of 0, x minus 0 with a multiplicity of 1, a root of 1 with a multiplicity of 1, and a root of 3 with a multiplicity of 2. Okay, so the key here is to make sure that your sign's right. When it's just an x, you actually would probably put that out in front, x minus 1, like this. And then if the function has a positive leading coefficient, so that just means that it's like a 1 there.
Mhm.
Negative would be like -1. You would just graph this. Are you comfortable, Emma? Can you graph this on your own? Are you totally, and you don't need to do it, but because all you're going to be doing is comparing this to the other graph.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. Let me just get it down real quick.
Sure.
But no, I feel comfortable. I got a lot more use using decimals. Although I still can't get like when it's the picture doesn't fit the screen right away. I take forever to try to figure out where to put it so I can see everything.
Yeah. Well, just keep at it. There's plenty of help. Like if you're unsure, you could just almost always just type it into Google, how to fit the window using Desmos.
Yeah. Okay, I got that written down.
Almost certainly another student has it. Perfect. Okay, 10. Let's go to 10. When you look at 10, or oh no, you're I'm not sharing the screen, am I?
Yeah, you are. You're good.
Oh, I'm good. Oh yeah, okay. What is the completely factored form of this thing right here? Now, this one's got 2 variables in it, x and y. Sometimes it's very distracting. Like if this were x squared minus 16x plus 64, how would you approach this problem?
I would factor out like the x, I guess.
But x would have to be in all 3 of them. So this is a certain type of trinomial.
Oh, right.
This trinomial is, and this is like me asking you to identify what it is. And it's a tough thing to do. But anything stand out to you?
That 16 and 64 both have 8 in common. I know
Okay.
that's probably not really common.
Well, it's related. This one's actually called a perfect square
yeah.
trinomial.
I knew that.
And it is related to what you just said. If you take the square root of the first term and the square root of the last term, x and 8, you merge them together and then double it. And then you double it, you get 16x, which is the middle term. And you might say, well, Matthew, it's not the middle term. There's a negative there. You're right. There's 2 forms of a perfect square trinomial. There's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, and there's a squared plus 2ab plus b squared.
Okay.
So it's this first one, and that's okay. So this is your a, and this is your b. And so these factor into known forms. This is a minus b squared. This one is a plus b squared. So I know I've got a lot going on here, but this original thing that I was asking you about becomes x minus 8 squared.
Okay.
Okay, but that's not the problem we're solving. So we gotta like modify. Do you see how there's a y squared and a y here in the original?
Yes.
Without a lot of explanation, you just put a y there and it works.
Okay.
Now, rather than just taking my word, we're gonna FOIL this so that you can see that it actually does work. All right, let me know when you're ready for us to do that.
I'm ready.
Okay, so FOIL first times first, x times x, that's x squared. X times minus 8y is minus 8xy. Minus 8y times x is also minus 8xy. You can change the order of the variables, that's fine. And then minus 8y times minus 8y is positive 64y squared. And you can see that that does give you the original.
Yeah.
So the point of everything that I did, that what down there, that is an important. The point is like to make this into something that is similar to help you get the answer, and then you just allowed to tack on that y
Yeah.
at the end. All right, number 11.
Okay.
I guess we got to look at some of these. I actually think we should move past this to 13.
Yeah. Okay.
Now there are a ton of online calculators that will help you find the answers to like problems like this one. My question is, and I'm not trying to, there's no trapping here. It's just like, do you want to actually work through how to do this by hand, or is that something that you feel like you could do on your own, or because it's a fair amount of work is what I'm
Yeah, I
getting at.
don't want to waste the whole time on that question. I
Okay.
guess that's where I'm at. So no,
Okay.
we can move past it.
All right, let's move to 14,
Mhm.
which is another polynomial division problem. Okay.
Yes.
And these are good to do. Like these you have to do most of the time. You have to do them by hand. X cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x minus 2. Now notice that these go down and they're just fine in a descending order. So same questions, like what do you multiply x squared by to get x cubed? And the answer is x. And then you multiply each of these by x cubed minus x squared plus x. And then you come in and you change the sign of everything. Okay, so the first one's always supposed to be 0. Second one may or may not be minus 2x squared, 3x minus x plus 2x. And then you bring down terms. So then you do the same. You say, okay, well, how do I get exactly this? Exactly minus 2x squared. So that's minus 2x squared times minus x, that's plus 2x minus 2. Now this is good. This means that all of these, because we're going to change the sign, they all cancel. They're all opposite, 0, 0, and 0. And as a reminder, this is your quotient, this is your remainder, which happens to be 0 this time, and this is your divisor.
Right. Okay.
Any questions on that?
No,
Okay, so let's go to 15 here.
So what they confused me with this one is they put an I in it. I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure that just means it's a negative. Sorry, I said it means like 3 times, but I'm kind of stuck.
That's okay.
Because they don't have an I in any of the answers.
No problem. We had a conversation about these types of roots, and they always come in pairs.
Yes.
So if 1 plus I is a root, that means that also 1 minus I is a root.
Yeah.
And we talked about earlier, you write it as x minus the root is one way, and then your multiplicity up here. Okay, so
Yeah.
for the root of 1, we're going to take care of that one. That's x minus 1. Yay, we got that one.
Mhm.
For the next one, it's x minus parentheses 1 plus I. Super, super important. And that takes care of this root here. But then it's x minus 1 minus I. So when you distribute this negative in, you get x minus 1 minus I, x minus 1 plus I. Let me know when you get caught up to this step here.
Okay. Okay.
So some instructors and some online videos, they talk about using a difference of squares approach here. I don't recommend that. I just would recommend multiplying everything. And it's a little more work, but it'll give you clarity on what you're doing. So x times each of these, so x squared minus x plus xi, then minus 1 times each of these, minus x plus 1 minus I. So what I'm doing here is I'm lining up like terms. And you can see that 1 is not a like term to these other things. The I isn't a like term because this is xi. And the next time we do it, we do the minus 1 times each of these, we'll get more like terms. So minus xi plus I minus I squared. If you've done this correctly, all the i's should go away.
Okay.
But it's a built-in check.
Mhm.
And again, full disclosure, if you were to put this line right here into say like a wolfram, it will give you the full, it'll give you it'll give you all the work that we're about to do. So just keep that in mind as a check or whatever. So this becomes minus 2x plus 1 minus I squared. But you said, hey Matthew, you said all the i's were going to go away. Well, I squared is -1. So this is negative of a -1 plus 1. This is really plus 1. So it's x squared minus 2x plus 2. But you can't forget to bring this down. And that's, you have to do it. You have to keep going to get this. So I don't suggest we do that unless you really need the right answer to this. Do you need the full answer to this, or can we stop?
No, I don't. The
Okay.
2x and the plus 2 works. That's an answer. So pretty sure.
Oh no. Well, you have to keep going. Like this is not the but what I'm saying is like I don't want to keep spending time on this because this is not helpful.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, let's do the next one. 16 is really fast. You'll definitely be able to do problems like this on your own.
I actually can do 16 on my own, so we can
Perfect.
move on to the next
We'll move on. All right, so what is the quotient? Oh, okay, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, 17. It says to use synthetic division. We never covered synthetic division. It is easier, but it only applies in certain situations. You can always use long division instead of synthetic division.
Mhm.
Do you want us to use synthetic division though for this?
No, we can use long. I mean, whichever one is actually faster, to be honest.
Well, it is synthetic, but there's some kind of like explanation. So
Yeah.
I put 1 in this box here, and that's because you set this equal to 0. And that's where the 1 comes from.
Mhm.
And then you write the coefficients. So it's 1x to the 4th, 0x cubed, 0x squared, 0x minus 1. And you have to remember to do all this or you will not get the right answer.
Yep.
So then the first thing you do is bring down the 1. You take this 1 down here and multiply it by the 1 in the box, and you put it in this position next to it on the right. Then you always add vertically, and then you repeat. You take this 1, multiply it by this 1, put the answer here, add vertically. Then you take this 1, multiply this 1, put the answer here, add vertically. So you get 1 times 1 is 1, and then you finally get 0. This right here is your remainder. This right here is your quotient. Now, it's not the quotient that you're seeing in the answer there, because this first one referred to x to the fourth, x cubed, x squared, x. Your quotient goes down by 1 degree, so it becomes 1x cubed plus 1x squared plus 1x plus 1. And I'm getting those coefficients from this right here.
Yeah, I see that.
Definitely, this would be a good problem to watch or review before a test, especially if it's not clear. Excuse me, so 19 is a good problem to follow up with this because it's a better use of synthetic division.
Yeah, okay. We can go to that one.
Okay. 18 is one that it's kind of like an earlier one where you said, no, I've got it. So we'll look at these. Okay, this first part's key. This is what tells you what goes in the box. Okay, and it's equivalent to, like, if I said x plus 2 equals 0, because that means that x is minus 2. That's why it goes into the box there. And then you need the coefficients here. So you need 1, minus 2, minus 68, and 120, minus 120. So again, step 1, bring the 1 down. Step 2, multiply. So you get minus 2 here. You add vertically. Then you multiply. So minus 2 times minus 4 is 8. You add to get minus 60. Minus 60 times minus 2 is 120. And you get 0. That's your remainder. This is your quotient right here. But again, it was an x cubed, x squared, and x. So it has to go down by 1 degree. So this becomes 1x squared minus 4x minus 60. And you need to factor this. So this is the factoring type where you're trying to find two numbers that multiply to minus 60, but add up to negative 4. The faster you can find those, the faster this is. You could also sort of help yourself by graphing it if you're really struggling to figure out what they are. But the answer is negative 10 and 6. So that produces x minus 10, x plus 6. And that's what the question is asking for. It's saying, like, what are the remaining factors once you do all this?
Okay.
All right, so for number 20. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. This is not the final answer.
I was gonna ask you, because I'm like, this doesn't match any of the answer boxes.
This is also, see how this minus 2 is a 0? This is also a root. So that one has to come down with it. Because it says all. It doesn't say to just find the remaining factored forms of this.
Now we can go on to 20.
Yep, for number 20.
Oh, I know how to do this one. It's just graphing, so you're okay. You
Yeah,
can move to the next one.
you actually just put this in and read them off.
Yeah.
So not bad. 21. We'll look at 21 together. So again, like, there's so many like online tools nowadays where if you don't know how to do something like this, and I'm not in any way like encouraging this, but it's a reality. Like, that's where we live in, is like, there are places where you can just enter this and it will give you what you're looking for. This is, though, a difference of squares problem. Difference of squares is a squared minus b squared. And that factors into a minus b, a plus b. Okay, and how do you use that here? Because there's a square, not a fourth. Well, p squared squared is p to the fourth. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then 4 squared is 16. So this right here is your A, and this right here is your B.
Mhm.
So p to the fourth minus p to the, sorry, p to the fourth minus 16 becomes A minus B, p squared minus 4, A plus B, p squared plus 4. But we're not done. This right here is also a difference of squares.
Mhm. I see that.
So here it's p squared minus 2 squared. So this is your A and this is your B. So this right here, p squared minus 4 kind of off to the side, it becomes p minus 2, p plus 2. And so that you bring this equal sign down, p minus 2, p plus 2, p squared plus 4. That's your final answer on that one.
Give me 2 seconds to write that down. Okay.
Okay, let's look at 22. Well, actually, maybe I have time to go back to 1. Okay, a polynomial has a root of -6 with multiplicity 1. So that's x minus -6 multiplicity 1. Root of -2, x minus and -2, multiplicity of 3, not 1. A root of 0 with multiplicity 2, and a root of 4 with multiplicity 3. Okay, so let me just clean this up slightly. X plus 6, x plus 2 cubed, x squared, x minus 4 cubed. So you have this, great. You're going to have to graph this. You graph this line, and that's the only way you can then go and look at the answers.
Okay.
So I'm going to snip in the answers so we can look at them and talk about what that might mean. Positive, in this case, positive means above the x-axis. And negative would similarly mean below.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you all you have to do is graph this, and if you've graphed it right, one of these will be true.
Mhm.
Do you want us to graph this to confirm that or show that?
No, I think I'll be able to do that and figure it out. So
Okay.
go on to number 1. I don't know
Back to number 1, yeah.
time to actually finish number 1, but
Number 1's kind of
a
yeah, they're long. These are actually types of problems you see in like business calculus classes or college algebra for business students. Actually, really similar to this. So they say that
I had to do a math class in college, and it's like so having.
yeah, it's so the price that a company charged for basketball hoop is given by the equation 50 minus x squared, and revenue, which you do care about, revenue is price times quantity. So in your case, the price is 50 minus 5x squared, and the quantity is x. So this becomes 50x minus 5x cubed. The cost function, similarly, there's not really a formula for cost. It depends on many factors, but they're saying every basketball costs them $30 to make. So now the production changed from 1 million. Okay. To reduced its production, but maintained its profit at 15 million. Okay. Approximately how many basketball hoops did the company previously produce to make?
See, that seems counterproductive. We figured out how to lower it. That seems like more likely what you would want to do.
Yeah, it's a complicated way of asking something. It's not too difficult, but it's weird. So the profit is revenue minus cost, which is 50x minus 5x cubed minus 30x. So these actually combine. Your profit function is 20x minus 5x cubed. And I guess I'm going to graph this. Really hoping this works out nicely. You're right. We may not actually have enough time to get the right answer here.
I just knew this question would be long.
Yeah. So it's weird. It's weird the way they're doing this. So y equals 15. I don't know. Is one of these the answer?
15 is the answer. 15 million hoops.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be right though. Company recently reduced its production from 1 million hoops. They usually made 15 million. I don't think they can reduce the price that much.
Approximately basketball hoops the company previous make. Well, their revenue to be 15 million means they're making 1 or 1.303. So I think the answer is one of these numbers, 1.303 or 1. So there's 1.3 million.
Yeah, there's 1.3.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dwell too much on that. I wouldn't even think about it again. I don't know if that comes up. You just got a bad luck of the draw. But that does, yeah, that does take us to the end of our lesson for today. I'll send you the notes here shortly.
Yes,
Good luck on your exam. You're going to do fine, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye now.